What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're bringing you guys back with another Sugo-Fest exclusive concept video. So my previous concept video was a dual legend with Luffy and Law. So if you guys have not checked out that video yet, there should be a card at the top of the video. Make sure to check that out. I think that by far that was probably my most favorite concept that I did come up with. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. In today's video though, we have a new concept for a version 2 legend ENEL. Now, the thing about it is I don't really like come up with the unit first and then go ahead and find artwork for the character. Typically, I find the artwork, and that's what inspires me to make these concept videos. Now, when I came across this artwork for this legend ENEL, I was absolutely in awe. I feel like the artwork for this character looks amazing, and I feel like we haven't had a character of ENEL that looks as cool as this. And I feel like his abilities that are going to be on this concept you guys are going to be seeing in this video today would be an absolutely amazing character to get a hold of in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now, I feel like there might be some people out there that might not be a big fan of the way that this character is built, but hopefully you guys do go on to enjoy the video. Before we get into it though, just of course I want to just put it out there that the artwork for this character was obviously found online from a previous One Piece game, One Piece Adventure Log, like all the other artworks are. So just want to put that out there in case anyone was wondering. So anyways guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the concept video. So I'd like to introduce you guys to the brand new concept, which is going to be version 2 ENEL. Now this character is a Psi driven shooter character, and at max level at level 99 with max limit break, he has 4,156 HP, 1856 attack, and 470 recovery. So when you give him some cotton candies, he's going to have 46,500 HP and just over 2,056 attack. So very, very respectable stats for a Sugo-Fest exclusive character. Now, before we get into the most important part of these characters, being obviously the captain ability, the special ability, and the crewmate abilities, I want to quickly discuss some of the other things first. So, he does have 3 potential abilities, of course, like all other Sugo-Fest exclusive characters. His first one is int damage reduction, his secondary one is pinch healing, and his third one, which obviously is the most important one on most characters, is going to be the slot bind reduction. Now, slot bind reduction is quite key because this character is an orb-based captain effect, obviously meaning, you know, you need to get matching orbs in order for you to get your max damage output. So speaking of his captain ability, let's go ahead and talk about it. So for my concept of version 2 ENEL, his captain effect is going to go ahead and boost striker, shooter, and driven characters attack by 3.75 times when you have a matching slot. If you do not, it's just going to be a base 3 times boost. Also, he makes non-matching slots or unfavorable slots have matching slot effects, and we will deal non-type fixed damage to all enemies at the end of the turn, depending on how many perfects you hit during that turn, up to a maximum of 275 times this character's attack. So that is a lot to break down just from a face value. So breaking down every single one of these points. First of all, he is a 3.75 times attack boost with a matching orb, or 3 times otherwise, for striker, shooter, and driven. Now, this character himself is a driven and a shooter. He also will boost striker characters on top of that. So he's kind of got the same effect as like V3 Sabo or the Dex Sabo, whichever you want to call it, where even though he isn't one of the classes, he will still boost that class. And I really like that about the new Sabo character, and I feel like a lot of legends should kind of adopt this kind of build because it allows you to build some really interesting teams. So even though he is shooter and driven, and he really synergizes with those type of characters, he can also synergize with striker-based characters as well. So that is his first part of his captain effect. Additionally, he will make non-matching or unfavorable, I really should have used the word unfavorable instead of non-matching, but either way, he will make the negative orbs count as matching orbs for your entire crew, meaning that your crew will technically get 2 out of the 7 natural orbs as matching with their own type and the negative type, which is really awesome, enables you to get more matching orbs more frequently, and then he also has the added effect of dealing end of turn fixed damage AoE to all enemies. Now, as I stated, it is based on how many perfects you hit, and if you hit all 6 perfects, you will deal 565,000 400 damage to all enemies as fixed damage, which is a pretty awesome effect, because even if it means that, like, even if you don't get matching orbs, or having a 3x captain ability, you actually can still output some pretty serious damage output to all enemies as long as you do hit all your perfects. Also, this kind of effect is extremely useful when the enemy inflicts attack down to your crew, because the end of turn damage is obviously not affected by the attack down, which is fantastic. Now, this does mean that when you are running double NL captains, that you'll basically get double the amount of damage, so you can deal up to 1.2 million damage fixed AoE at the end of the turn after you hit 6 perfects. Now, in my eyes, I do not feel like this is any sort of power creep right now. I feel like this is a reasonably fair captain effect considering some of the other characters that we have in the game right now. And I do think that if this captain ability was an actual accessible captain effect that people could play around with, we would see this guy clear a lot of content. Now, obviously, he is a driven character, and as we guys know on Global, driven kind of get nerfed in a lot of pieces of content. However, with more recent developments on the Japanese side of the game, driven have actually received a lot of support in the names of the Barto and Cavendish dual legend batch, as well as the release of Treasure Mode Doflamingo, and also the release of Limited Rare Recruit Pudding. Lots of support has actually been directed towards the driven class, and they are obviously a lot better. And I feel like adding a character like this would also make them even better. Now, he also does directly support shooters as well, because he does boost shooter characters as well. Obviously, the shooter class, as we all know, is really, really strong with releases of the Capone and the Zephyr badge, so this also adds to that class as well. So enough discussion of the captain ability, let's go ahead and take this time to discuss his special ability. So his special ability maxes out at a 14 turn cooldown, and it will go ahead and reduce the duration of all enemy barriers by 1 turn, and will also change all slots, including block, into non-matching or unfavorable slots, and also boost the attack of Striker, Shooter, and Driven, the 3 classes that he boosts for his captain ability, by 2 times for 1 turn if there's only 1 enemy remaining. If there is more than 1 enemy on the enemy side of the field, he boosts those characters' attack by 2.25 times instead. So the fact that with his special ability he has the ability to remove 1 turn of barriers obviously enhances his usability of his captain effect, because as we just discussed before, he does AoE end of turn damage. Now, if you have a way to remove 1 turn of all of the enemy's barriers, this means that you will have way more usage out of his end of turn damage, meaning that you don't even have to worry about breaking all the enemy's barriers. You can just use his special ability, reduce their barriers, and on top of also reducing their barriers, you get a full board of matching orbs, because the non-matching or the unfavorable slots will be treated as beneficial with his captain effect. Some of you might be wondering though that even if you are using this type of special ability, and let's say you're using him as a sub, this doesn't really help out your team all that much, because you get a full board of negative orbs and there isn't really a good way to utilize that. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Now, obviously the last part of his special ability is amazing, being his own crew's attack booster, which is very, very awesome, meaning that, you know, you can go ahead and bring your dedicated orb boosters or affinity boosters or conditional boosters. You don't really have to worry about one of the more pivotal points of most team building is bringing a type booster, which is always, I feel, one of the most annoying things to deal with, unless if the captain himself is the crew's type booster. Like Gear 4 Luffy, for example, is a fantastic unit because he does provide that type of boost to your crew. With ENEL, he will also provide that as well, which I feel like is a very, very nice feature that this character will have for his teams. Going back to what we mentioned just a minute ago about how if you use this character as a sub and then you use the special ability, you basically get a full board of negative orbs, and that really isn't going to help you out in many situations. However, if you use him as a sub and you have him at max limit break, he does get a very useful crewmate ability that we're going to be discussing. His crewmate ability will state that if your crew has entirely striker, shooter, or driven characters, he will make their non-matching or unfavorable slots have matching slot effects. This is going to be an amazing ability to have, works extremely well with his special ability, but of course you do have to build around that. And in most cases, if you are going to be using him as a sub, why not just use him as a captain, depending on obviously what team you're going to be building. But as a captain, he obviously provides a lot of really, really good boost. But if you do not want to opt using him as a captain, you can still go ahead and use him as a sub, and he'll be able to provide you with those matching orbs when you go ahead and use the special ability, which is great. His secondary crewmate effect is going to boost the HP and attack, the base HP and attack of striker, shooter, and driven characters by 100. So just adding a little bit more damage output to your crew is always going to be very, very useful. So that is my complete concept video of the version 2 Sugo-Fest exclusive ENEL character. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on how do you think I built this concept. Do you guys enjoy this concept? Do you guys not enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I personally had a blast putting this character together, so I really hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you guys did enjoy it as well, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. These videos do take an extremely long time to put together, so I would appreciate all the support. And if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.